Okay everyone, another new mould. Thank you IntoResin for sending this one to me. It looks absolutely beautiful. I hope you can hear the bird song in the background, by the way. It's a lovely day here. Now, look at that. I wanted to show you these straight away. So what I'm going to do is do a couple of them clear so you can see what the mould on its own achieves, and then I'll put some colours on the backs of the other ones. So we've got a little bit of a variety for you, but the main thing is to examine this mould and maybe look at 3 different ways of using it. We are using epoxy resin, so we need to be careful. Gloves, respirator, and so on. Now, you could do all this incidentally with ultraviolet curing resin. That would work perfectly well as well, but I will be using epoxy today. So I've got the epoxy mixed up. Okay, so for the first 2, I'm just putting in purple. It's just a little bit of the clear. So this one is just a little bit of the clear pigment from Let's Resin, just because that's one I happen to have handy. And I'm just going to put that in and nothing else. We're just going to look at what the mould looks like without any messing. And in putting just a hint of colour in, I think that'll just make it easier for you to see on camera what these little moulds are like on their own. And me too, because I've just literally taken this out of the packet. It's the first time I've used this. Got a little left over, always have a spare mould handy. Now, these remaining 4, I'm just going to put clear in because we're going to put backings on them. So I won't quite fill them right up. So I might, as usual, I've ended up with a bit too much resin mixed up. Don't worry. As I said, I always have a spare mould handy. So I'm just going to fill these up and I'm going to let them sort of, I don't know, 80% cure, something like that. I still want them to be tacky. And you'll see why shortly. Now, these are some of the easiest effects to do with, well, with any mould, really. I think, if you want a bit of drama. We're going to be playing with some chameleon flakes and ethereal flakes. I don't know which yet, one or the other or both. And I'm sure you will have seen other people doing this before. It's just more to show off the mould. Now, one thing I will say to you, when you just saw me, I put a bit too much in this one. So you will have seen me just have a little poke around in there to lift some out. Be very careful not to touch the silicone if you're using something like plastic or metal, because you will scratch it. You know, like I said earlier, it is any silicone mould this goes for, not just these handmade ones. Once you scratch them, anything that you have then left on the surface, any scratches, will be there forever. You really are going to struggle to get rid of them or do anything with it. You'll end up sanding your pieces afterwards and so on. And we don't want that, do we? So just be careful. Right, gonna let these cure. This resin is Apex High Gloss. It cures fully. I usually leave it overnight. It's one of those sort of resins. However, because I want it to be slightly, a little bit tacky still, I'm probably going to come and check on it in 4 or 5 hours. We'll see what it's looking like then. Okay, we're back with our little butterflies. Now, what I'm going to do with these then is I'm going to put powders on the back, but I've got 2 different ways of doing this. First one, I've mixed some with some alcohol. And these powders are ethereal powders. And I thought if I mix it with alcohol, that would be easier to apply. And so, there you go, look, isn't that easy? And that's several different colours I've mixed together. So there's one way of doing it. And that's just an ordinary little needle tip bottle. I bought a big job lot of these from Amazon. Now, the other one, I'm going to brush it on. And also we'll back one of these with black and not the other one. So again, you've got a variant to look at. You know what, I'm going to use dark matter. I'm rather in love with dark matter. This is one of the Tiny Turner ethereal pigments. And there's usually a bit in the lid. There we go. So I'm just going to brush it in this time. So a little bit more. You only need a bit on your brush, so go sparing. So this time I'm actually brushing it on. So we should have 2 slightly different effects. But this is pretty much cured. It's just got a slight clamminess to it. But these are the typical sort of things that people will do with these sort of crystal moulds. Just put shininess on the back, like this. I mean, there's lots of different things, but this is enough for us to be looking at these moulds and seeing what we think of them. And also, just having a play. So that's what we're doing. Maybe give you some ideas. Now, this one, the drawback is with the one on the left is that obviously I've got to let it dry if I'm going to put black on the back. So I'm just going to give this a few minutes. Alcohol does evaporate very, very quickly. So I'll be back in a few minutes. And like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to put black on the back of one and not on the back of the other. So tell you what, just for comparisons, let's do one of each of these in black. One of each of these effects. How does that sound? Right, I'll see you in about, I'm going to give that 20 minutes just to let that evaporate off. And I will see you shortly. So, for the sake of speed, I'm going to use black polyurethane. Anybody who's not come across polyurethane resin before, yeah, cures really fast. Well, some sorts do, they vary. This one does. This is cured in about half an hour. So, yeah, it's a quick one, this is. Ideal for, you know, if you're having an emergency quick make. So let's bring you in closer here. You don't get long to work this stuff. We're talking probably seconds in the pot for stirring, and then get it into your mould fast. Half an hour and you're done. Right, I think this one's dried. Let's see. If any floats up to the surface, it doesn't matter as long as there's a, because it will have turned back into powder, so you will get a certain amount of that. That one not so much so. There we are. And the others, I'm just going to back them up with clear. And again, I've got polyurethane for that as well. If you get any polyurethane, as I say, they do vary. I've got the Polycraft Opticast for the clear, and it's the Opticast 1000, yes, 1000, because they do a couple of different sorts, and one of them does take 24 hours to cure or anything. Well, I haven't really gained a lot over and above just using polyurethane if I do that. And you just think if I use that one, I haven't really gained anything over and above using just epoxy. So yeah, when you're buying polyurethane resin, and I know it's not available in every country either, I don't think. It's not that easy to find in the UK, to be honest. Then you do need to just check which sort it is. If you want white, by the way, Let's Resin do a great white one. I use that quite a lot. But I just wanted to go for clear with these. So I'll be seeing you again in half an hour, and we can demold these. That'll be good, wouldn't it? Right, I'll see you later then. Okay, let's pop these out and see what we've got then. So these are the clear ones. Oh, look at that. Look at the sparkle on that. That is amazing. And that is just the clear resin. Should put something white behind it, don't I? A bit of white paint. Look at that. So we've got two of those. Let's put them all down here onto my bit of paper. Gorgeous. Right, now this is the one that I sprayed the sparkle with the alcohol onto the back. It's a nice effect, isn't it? Isn't that lovely? That's really given it something, hasn't it? Gorgeous. Going to end up with a load of little butterflies. Now this was the same method but with the black on the back, so even more dramatic. Lovely. Amazing what difference between black and clear makes, isn't it? And let's have a look at the same with these. This was the powder brushed on, which surprisingly is more intense. Oh, mind you, this was dark matter, wasn't it? That was a mixture of colour. More intense than sprayed on. Lovely. And let's see what dark matter did when it had got the black behind it. Oh, look at that. Gosh, that's intense, isn't it? How lovely. I'm going to make something with these. I don't know what yet. But there we are. So we've had a look at another mould. Big thumbs up for that one as well, IntoResin. Thank you very much indeed. Don't forget, if anybody fancies one of these, discount code is down for you in the video description below. So just quickly to say, big shout out to my channel members. Thank you much for your continued support, and thank you to all those who subscribe. Don't forget, just subscribing is free, and it does enable me to let you know when I've got new videos out quite easily, which is great. And the link for that is down below here too. So there we are. I think we're impressed with that mould, don't you? See you for the next video, everyone. Bye.